to your Cao Cao's bodyguard. For him.
My lord, you're all right.
Dian Wei!
You must hurry, my lord.
Dian Wei!
Please escape! None shall pass beyond me! Heh, enough with the talk. Come and get some. Dian Wei shall cut you down where you stand.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Night Owl channel. Welcome back to the series where we're counting down the top Dynasty Warriors characters as of the latest game. Coming in at number 62, we have Dwayne Johnson. No, I'm just kidding. We have Dian Wei coming in here at number 62. Before we jump into who Dian Wei is and how he's changed and all that, let's take a look at the popularity polls to see why he's down here at number 62. In the first popularity poll, Dian Wei received 647 votes out of a total of 75,000, putting him at the 49th spot. In the second popularity poll, he drops all the way down to the 73rd spot. And then in my personal rankings, he goes all the way back up to the 43rd spot. I don't have anything against Dian Wei. He's been around since the first Dynasty Warriors game. He's an OG character. And there's nothing about him that I don't really like, except for that, of course, that there are better and other characters that I like more versus Dian Wei. But I never had anything against him. I thought his weapons were cool. I thought his look was cool and stuff like that. He was, big and, scary looking, intimidating. And let's go ahead and jump into, I guess that's a perfect segue. Let's go ahead and jump into who Dian Wei is for people who do not know. So again, Dian Wei's been in the game. He's been part of the series since the first Dynasty Warriors game. So he's been in for a very long time. And then for people who do not know who Dian Wei is one of Cao Cao's many generals who was renowned for his strength and bravery. He fought in several battles in his lord's honor before he acted as the rear guard for his lord's escape at Wan Castle. Cao Cao is reputed to have grieved his passing, and he constantly praises Dian Wei for being a match for Eli, who was the name of a mighty bureaucrat who once served under King Zhou. So Dian Wei was a bodyguard for Cao Cao, and he was the main bodyguard for Cao Cao. He was big, he was frightening, he was, muscly, he was huge, and he was very ferocious when it came to protecting Cao Cao or anyone he deemed worthy of being protecting. Dian Wei first came into Cao Cao's ranks through Xiahou Dun. Xiahou Dun was the one who actually recruited Dian Wei, put him under his ranks for a little bit, and then recommended Dian Wei to Cao Cao.
I was hunting tigers, but I seem to have caught something better. He's strong, and I can vouch for his courage. He'd make a good bodyguard.
Who then was again impressed with his, his fighting ability and his ferociousness, and then he assigned him to himself as a personal bodyguard, and he unfortunately dies a little bit early, which we will go over a little later when we discuss his death and his most significant battle that he's had in the game. All right, so let's jump into how Dian Wei has changed over the last 20 years, and I guess we'll start off with his appearance. His appearance is pretty similar throughout all the games. He has armor on, and he has the same color pattern. He looks pretty similar throughout the entirety of the game. I can't complain too much about his appearance. I don't have much to complain about there. He looks just fine. Dian Wei, anyone who likes Dian Wei is going to recognize him in any new installment or old installment if they decide to pick up any of the other installments in the series. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for his appearance. Very stagnant look. I mean, he looks pretty much the same throughout the entirety of his playability in the series. Now, he only uses 2 weapons throughout the entire series, and in one game, in Dynasty Warriors 6, is the only time he has a different weapon. Throughout the entirety, all the other games, he uses the battle axe. So I like his style with the battle axe. I don't have any problems with that. His moveset is actually pretty similar from like the first time you play with him all the way through to the current installment in Dynasty Warriors 9. He has a lot of the same moves and relatively the same, moveset and everything like that. And Dian Wei's Musou attacks with the battle axe was fine, didn't have anything to complain about. It kind of evolved from like a explosion or AoE kind of attack. I mean, it still does it, but like as the game progresses more, like some of the Musou attacks, he grabs somebody and throws them on the ground. Everybody, explodes around him, does a lot of damage and stuff like that. But not much to complain about with his Musou attack with the battle axe. It was, it was just fine. Nothing too crazy or anything like that, but it was just fine for for Dian Wei. So not much to complain about there. I enjoyed playing with the battle axe. Again, it's not one of my favorites. That's why he was, 43rd on my list. And of course, there's people higher than him because I enjoy playing with other people more than him. But I didn't have anything against his style. I liked the mini battle axe. Didn't have anything against it. And it was a lot of fun to play at. Dynasty Warriors 6, though, this was the problem. Dynasty Warriors 6, he got a ball and chain. It was like a bigger version of a flail. He had, the chain along with the giant ball on the end of it. It was the worst style to play at. Probably worse than the club when I was playing with, Zhu Shu or Wei Yan or Huang Gai in that, in that installment. But that is the worst style. It's very ineffective. It's just not very good for making opponents flinch or just getting hits off. The range is very small. It's just one of the worst weapons in the game for any character. It's literally one of the worst ones. And the only good things about it in Dynasty Warriors 6 were the grabs that it did. I thought the grabs were pretty cool. But other than that, the Musou attack was lame. The moveset was alright. Power moves were kind of... There was nothing really good about it. And, people who enjoy playing as Dian Wei, I could see struggling with him in this game. Especially if you play on the harder levels. You definitely would have a hard time playing with Dian Wei with this style. But it was only for one game. They brought the ball and chain in. And then after that... in Dynasty Warriors 7 and on, they brought him back with the battle axe. But that weapon style was absolutely terrible, and I'm glad they did not stick with that in Dynasty Warriors 6. All right, next let's go over his voice acting. And his voice acting is pretty good. The voice he had, I believe, from like Dynasty Warriors 3 or 4 all the way up to Dynasty Warriors 8 is his best one. I mean, he was the voice for him for so long. It fit. And when he went to Dynasty Warriors 9, he got a new one, which isn't, it's all right. It's not that great, but I definitely prefer the older one. And again, similar to Zhu, they really seem to emphasize the not being smart thing, at least with him. It just sounds like he comes off that way sometimes, and especially when he's talking. And like there's one cutscene he was talking to like Guo Jia and Shun Yo, and he was like, "It makes me sad."
I thought you guys simply gave our Lord good ideas without having to be prodded.
He once proposed a plot to his friends and was ultimately imprisoned for it. It is wise to learn from our brushes with misfortune.
I see. I guess you're right. Although, it all makes me kinda sad.
It kind of plays on that not being smart kind of thing, similar to Zhu. After they switched from Dynasty Warriors 8 to Dynasty Warriors 9. That's the inflection I'm getting with the voice acting. But fun fact about the voice acting for Dian Wei is that the old voice actor for Dian Wei also did Cao Ren.
Then I'll fight to the last. They will pass through our lines over my dead body.
We already did Cao Ren up on the channel, so we're not going to go over some of the other famous things that he's done. But it was just cool to see that voice actor could do Cao Ren, who sounds completely different. Lower monotone, sort of commanding type voice to a growly kind of intimidating voice that Dian Wei has. I don't really have much else besides that for his voice acting. All right, so now let's go over his relationship with other officers in the Wei Kingdom. Let's start off with Cao Cao because it's the most obvious one. Since he is the bodyguard of Cao Cao, he's probably going to have the closest relationship with Cao Cao. And after, becoming the bodyguard of Cao Cao, he took pride of being someone who Cao Cao thought highly of. Again, that comparison to the mighty warrior Eli. Dian Wei stayed humble and was like, nah, that's not me. At least in the games, nah, that's not me. I'm just here to do my job and stuff like that. But he thoroughly enjoyed protecting and doing his job with Cao Cao, which ultimately led to his death, which we will get to in a little bit. But Dian Wei had an amazing relationship with Cao Cao, again, being the bodyguard of him, making sure he was okay, making sure he was always all right. He was always around him when, during the daytime, he was outside his tent, making sure things were all right. At nighttime, when they were sleeping, they made sure, he was rarely in his own quarters, rarely in his own place. He was always around Cao Cao in case anything went wrong. They had a very close relationship all the way up to his death. They even said that, when Dian Wei passes away, Cao Cao, he mourned for his death. Every time he passes his grave, he would mourn. And he actually, teared up and cried when Dian Wei passed away. That's how close the relationship was. That's how much value Dian Wei had to Cao Cao. The other relationships that Dian Wei had among the Wei Kingdom was with Xiahou Dun and Zhu. So because he was first, enlisted by Xiahou Dun and was under his command and everything like that, and of course he was vouched for by Xiahou Dun, He has a close relationship with Xiahou Dun, and not as close as Cao Cao, but he, respects him, and he respects him pretty much at the same level as Cao Cao, referring to him as my lord or Lo Xiahou. He has that respect for Xiahou Dun after getting that recommendation from him to become Cao Cao's bodyguard. The final big relationship he has is, of course, with Zhu Zhu, because Zhu Zhu was another bodyguard for Cao Cao, and of course, they're both bodyguards, they're both, doing the same job, they're going to become very close with each other. They both had the same passion of protecting Cao Cao. They both have the same, ideals and what they wanted to do. And they both thought similarly. Zhu Zhu is not the brightest character. Neither is Dian Wei. But again, when it comes to the battlefield, both of those characters, ferocious, do what they had to do in order to protect, Cao Cao or whoever they were protecting at the time. And they just meshed very well. Very similar people. They got along very, very well. A lot of cutscenes involved around them. And, they're very good friends all the way up until the end. And finally, let's go over Dian Wei's heroic and I would even dare to say inspirational death. When he passed away, everybody in that kingdom during the time, everybody part of Cao Cao's team was feeling the loss of Dian Wei. Everybody respected Dian Wei for what he did, and they could see the pride and passion that he had for protecting Cao Cao. Everybody was there fighting for the same goal, and they all respected Dian Wei for what he did for Cao Cao and, for sacrificing himself so Cao Cao could live. So basically what happened, this also ties into his most significant battle, which was the Battle of Wan Castle. It was his final battle. So what happens through the game is this governor named Shang Shou surrenders to Cao Cao because Cao Cao declares war on him. He invites him into a castle. They give him a banquet. They, throw him a party and everything, make him feel good, everything like that. And then once they lure him into the castle, they spring a trap. It's an ambush. And the only people that are there with Cao Cao is Dian Wei, and I believe a couple of his sons, Cao Ang and Cao Anmin. Each game depicts the Battle of Wan Castle a little bit different, but it's pretty much revolved around the same thing. Dian Wei's there helping Cao Cao escape. Of course, there's soldiers and troops coming after them, and, they're on their way to the exit. And Dian Wei, stops in his tracks, turns around and says, Cao Cao, you go on ahead. I'm going to make sure nobody else follows you. Dynasty Warriors 9 did a great job of depicting the death of Dian Wei, and so did a lot of other ones. You can see all of the different variations in the cutscenes, which would be in the description for this video, but he stops, and the soldiers attack Cao Cao. Dian Wei sacrifices himself. He gets stabbed. He gets shot with arrows. He's standing there with arrows and swords in him and cuts, and he's, bleeding out and everything, and, Cao Cao gets away, and Dian Wei fights literally until his last breath. It's said in history that he literally fought until his last breath, until he can no longer fight, and he died from the blood loss that he sustained from all of the damage that he took protecting Cao Cao. Nobody in the Dynasty Warriors series has an emotional and heroic death like that. Probably one of the more famous ones among the Dynasty Warriors characters. And Dian Wei, it's a pretty good... like I said, Dynasty Warriors 9 did a great job with handling his death at Wan Castle and stuff like that. Of course, there's games where you could, you have the hypothetical and the, the what if he survived and everything like that. But, so Zhang Shou, and it was actually Jia Shu's strategy, and it was crazy because Jia Shu, when we get to him, we'll explain a little bit more. It was his strategy. He kills Dian Wei. They go back and capture him. And then Cao Cao recruits Jia Shu to be part of his army, and everybody's like, what? But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for Dian Wei. So weapon style changed only one time. The battle axe suits him well, like I said. Don't have much to complain about there. And then, his looks, his appearance, absolutely, fine. Don't have anything to complain about. Anybody who is a big Dian Wei fan, they'll recognize him. They won't, I don't see any problems with how he looks throughout the entirety of the game. He has basic armor on, and he's got the, muscles, and he's big, and he's, intimidating, and that's, what he's meant to do as a bodyguard. And then his relationships, again, he's got Cao Cao, Xiahou Dun, and Zhu Shu, very close relationships with all three of those characters. And then, of course, the death of Wan Castle. He had other major battles as well, where, of course, that's where he proved himself being a very, prominent warrior and capable person of protecting Cao Cao. But the Wan Castle battle, where he's probably known for the most. So, but yeah, that's all I have for Dian Wei here. We'll be moving on to number 61 here shortly. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you guys, like Dian Wei, if you guys play as him, let me know what you think about him in the comment section. And that's all I have for the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, everyone.